if you would have told a Chelsea fan at the start of the season that under Frank Lampard, in the space of a week over the Christmas period, Chelsea would go away to not only Spurs, but go away to Arsenal and win both games, it's a thing dreams are made of for a fan. Incredible. And this is a big thing for Lampard. These are the games that mean so much to fans. Personally, for me, I think winning at Arsenal is more important than winning at Spurs. But to do both in a season, you're catering for both needs there as a fan. These are amazing moments for Lampard. But as we've said, there's a lot more to the season to go. If Chelsea can find the key element at home and turn some of their home form and some of their brilliance away from home into the home games, this can still be a really good season. Hello there guys, what is going on? Son of Chelsea back here again for my rational perspective on Arsenal 1, Chelsea 2. How do you explain that game? Especially the ending to that game. I'll try and be as rational and as thoughtful as I can be. But even trying to take some time after that game to think about it, to rewatch the highlights quickly, and to sort of summarise what that game was, absolutely mental. And I think it properly sums up Frank Lampard's Chelsea so far this season. At times they can be frustrating, they can be naive, they can be chaotic, they can be so expressive and lovable and a team that you just love watching. But that game, I think, just perfectly sums up. And I think this week has summed up Chelsea's season so far. At the start of this week, we beat Spurs 2-0, putting in a wonderful display, a display that was our best of this season. And really felt like we were going in the right direction in so many aspects. And then a couple of days later, we play at home to Southampton and we look aimless, we look toothless, we look out of ideas and we get beaten and rightly beaten. And then a couple of days later, we go away to Arsenal and we beat them in the last couple of minutes with an exhilarating counter-attack. I think that just sums up how mental and indifferent and unpredictable this team can be. This performance, this result, and especially the performance with it, is not going to solve the problems at home. In a lot of ways, this game summed up a lot of Chelsea's issues at home. For large periods of that second half, Arsenal were defending quite deep. Chelsea was struggling to break them down. That has been the pattern of Chelsea's home defeats recently. That's going to be the key for Lampard. That is going to be his key issue, because it's quite clear now that Chelsea have sort of shaken off that big game hoodoo, especially against Tottenham and Arsenal. In the space of a week, they've beaten both of them. Some of the players, of course, have got that mentality that they can go to stadiums like the Emirates and to White Hart Lane and beat big teams. They can do it. They can step up when required. The trouble is when we come up against Burnley at home or other teams like that where we struggle. And I think that's going to be the key question for Lampard. And he didn't really get the answer to that. He was never, because it's an away game, but there still is that worrying aspect to me. Formation-wise, I think 4-3-3 is the formation. I think we all instinctively knew it was the best formation for Chelsea. But I think the key answer here is Jorginho. The absence of him in that first half, and then when he came on and the change he made. If you needed more of an example and more of a presentation of why Jorginho is so important to Chelsea and why he's such a good midfielder, there you go. Because the change in momentum of that game went from Arsenal looking like the dominant side, looking like they could overrun Chelsea, sort of out-muscle Chelsea at points and getting behind us and look like they were just going to score more and more goals, to a game that very much favoured Chelsea and was in Chelsea's hands. But then it was always that key aspect of, can Chelsea break down Arsenal? Now, the equaliser comes from a moment of a calamitous error from Bernd Leno. And I tweeted during the game that from what the game was looking like to me, it looked like Chelsea were either going to score from a moment of brilliance from a Chelsea player, or it was going to come from a moment of stupidity from an Arsenal player. And sort of both Chelsea goals were that. They were a moment of stupidity from Arsenal and a moment of brilliance from Chelsea. The brilliance of that counter-attack, it reminded me so much of Chelsea's second against Manchester City when Willian scored that goal at the Etihad in 2016 under Conte. This goal was very much like that. Tammy Abraham, what a turn, what a goal, what a moment for him. He's had so many brilliant moments this season, but that probably tops them. Not only is it a winner in a London derby against one of Chelsea's biggest rivals, but for him, that sort of hoodoo of not scoring against big teams whilst he's played well in some of them, Brilliant way to end the year personally for him, and that's a massive goal because he hasn't scored in a couple of games. I think personally that would be a bit of vindication for him, and he didn't have a lot to feed off, and I think that's the class of him at the moment, that he is playing years ahead of his age. And he didn't have much to feed off, but once he got that chance, did he take it? And that is a sign of a class striker. Even though he's had struggles recently, to come through that, to step up when his team needs him most, I think proves how good Tammy Abraham is. So we've already talked about Jorginho. We've already talked about Tammy Abraham, his influence. Of course, transfers as well. I think for a lot of that game, as it was heading into an Arsenal victory, transfers sort of loomed over more and more, and they have been in recent weeks. So that's of course not all fixed. Chelsea do need some sort of recruitment, but it's smart recruitment that's the key for me for Chelsea. Some other things to touch on. Lamptey coming on off the bench. I saw him on the bench and I tweeted, hopefully this is a good sign for him having a positive influence or getting a chance against Forest in the FA Cup. I think it's next week. But then he comes off the bench, and you got to give credit to Lampard for making that decision to bring on a player. He credits Jody Morris in his post-match interview for sort of having the belief in Lamptey, but then for Frank to put the faith in a young player like that and give him a chance. I think Lamptey offered something that just wasn't there. We didn't have it when Tomori went to there. Sure, he had a bit more pace, but he's not a fullback. So bringing on a natural fullback in the area really helped Chelsea. And at one point, Lamptey looked like he went on this brilliant run inwards, that really caught Arsenal off guard, and he nearly set up Tammy Abraham for a goal. So I think Lamptey should be very proud of his performance, because I think he offered something that just wasn't there for a majority of the game. And I think that's a great thing. But as I say, the game is sort of defined by that last 10 minutes. It really is. The exhilarating way Chelsea countered on Arsenal, it's so Arsenal that they've been defending quite well, and then the moment they concede, their heads go, and Arsenal try to chase a winner when they don't need to. They overcommit, and I think it says a lot that the moment Chelsea are given space, we absolutely go for the throats of Arsenal. I think that defined the game really, that it was so I think telling that the moment Chelsea got that space, we took it. And that's not the problem. Chelsea with space are a very dangerous side. That's not the key issue. It's the issue when a majority of sides we come up against do sit deep. And I think that still is a key issue. You know, if Jorginho gets sent off, but Leno doesn't make that mistake, do Chelsea get back into that game? Yes, that's all hypothetical. We don't know that, but I don't think you can say Chelsea were creating a lot of great opportunities. Some of that is down to good shape and good defending from Arsenal, but I also think that's a case of a lack of maybe creativity, a lack of a risk taken that Chelsea still have. So these are all things Lampard needs to work on with the players, and the players need to be more brave, I think, at times on the pitch. But I think as a fan, if you would have told a Chelsea fan at the start of the season that under Frank Lampard, in the space of a week over the Christmas period, Chelsea would go away to not only Spurs, but go away to Arsenal and win both games, it's a thing dreams are made of for a fan. Incredible. And this is a big thing for Lampard. These are the games that mean so much to fans. Personally, for me, I think winning at Arsenal is more important than winning at Spurs. But to do both in a season, you're catering for both needs there as a fan. These are amazing moments for Lampard, but as we've said, there's a lot more to the season to go. If Chelsea can find the key element at home and turn some of their home form and some of their brilliance away from home into the home games, this can still be a really good season. I think it's a key 3 points, because I think it really does put Arsenal out of that race. If they would have won today, the gap between us and them would have gone down to 5. Now it goes over 10 points. A massive moment for us and them there. But also, you know, you look at Manchester United, they're coming into it, Tottenham, Wolves. It's a big way to end the year, and I think it's just that sort of turning of the form at home. We go into Brighton, who is not going to be an easy game. I'm going to be at the game. It's my birthday, New Year's Day. Buzzing for that game. Let's hope Chelsea's good away form continues. But of course, there is a lot more problems long term. But I'm not trying to make this a negative. This is absolutely incredible. I was shaken at full time. Seeing Tammy score that goal was wonderful. Seeing Jorginho finally, you know, I've been such a big fan of him, and seeing his influence this year. And of course, that's a massive moment for him personally, the vindication of Frank's substitution and the vindication for Jorginho of his impact within this team. I think it was there for all to see that he very much defined sort of the game and very much changed the game. But yeah, amazing. Absolutely incredible. Chelsea winning at Arsenal and Spurs. And today, It's a massive moment. It's another key moment in the season. It's another great memory that Chelsea fans are going to save for a long time. These away wins, these big away wins, even though Chelsea, as Chelsea fans, it's been a fantasy, hasn't it? We've, this decade, when you look back at it, has been absolutely incredible for Chelsea. The amount of amazing wins we've had. But still, these big away wins don't come that often, to be honest. And you need to savor them because they are ones, even if they don't bring silverware, do bring you those bragging rights and our amazing memories and games that we will watch for a number of years. That Tammy goal will be watched for many years to come. And great, absolutely amazing. So we're back on track, I guess, but we move on to Brighton. It'd be amazing to make it 2 wins in a row, and then we move on to the FA Cup. But yeah, those are my thoughts, sort of jumbled thoughts in a sense, because it's very hard to talk about that game sort of in a whole, because it was absolutely mental. But I hope you guys enjoyed it, if you are Chelsea fans who of course are watching this, because it was incredible. So thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this video. If you did enjoy it, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell to never miss an upload. I've got my best wins of the decade coming out tomorrow, so definitely stay tuned for that. Follow me as well on Twitter, and I'll see you again.